Hi guys, welcome to Lila's Best Eats, where I'm always doing it right. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your subscription. If you haven't yet subscribed, but you enjoy the content that I'm pushing out, then what are you waiting for? Don't be shy. Click that like, share, and subscribe. Tap that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload any of my delicious cooking content. Now, let's get into today's video. Let's get to doing what I do best. Let's get to doing it right. Okay, guys, let's get to doing it right. Let me show you how to make these dairy-free Mexican cheddar biscuits. The ingredients you need are fresh chives, unsalted plant-based butter, dairy-free sour cream or regular sour cream, agave nectar or honey, black pepper, baking soda, baking powder, sea salt, distilled vinegar. Go check the description to see how I made the vegan buttermilk, all-purpose flour, unsweetened coconut milk, and non-dairy Mexican cheddar cheese. I've already taken the liberty to accurately measure the ingredients. So here I have measured a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/4 cup of cold grated butter, a 1/2 cup of dairy-free Mexican cheddar cheese, a 1/3 cup of finely minced chives, a 1/2 cup of dairy-free sour cream, 1 cup of vegan buttermilk, and finally 1 tablespoon of agave nectar or honey. In the first step process of making these vegan Mexican cheddar biscuits, you'll work with only the dry ingredients first. So get the flour into a larger bowl, follow it by adding your salt, and then the remaining dry ingredients, your baking soda, and remember, it's imperative when baking, you guys, that you measure your ingredients accurately. Your baking powder, and finally, your black pepper. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use a whisk to aerate these ingredients. And by me doing this, it will make for a much fluffier biscuit. Next, add the cold grated plant-based butter directly into the flour mixture. And with either a blender cutter or 2 forks, cut the butter into the flour. Just be sure not to cut the butter to where it all disappears. Leave visual bits of butter because that's what's going to help make the exterior of the biscuit that much more flakier. Once you finish completely cutting the butter into the flour, this is what your flour should look like. Your flour should look and have a slight crumbled texture to it. Next, add your dairy-free Mexican cheddar cheese. Then grab those finely minced chives and get those right into the bowl as well, and be sure to get all of your ingredients. Don't leave anything behind. Now, using a folding method, fold the cheese and chives into the flour, but do not overmix. It can cause the biscuits to be dense. In our second step process, we're going to be working with the wet ingredients. Start by adding your vegan buttermilk to the flour mixture. Then go ahead and add your dairy-free sour cream. And don't be shy, scrape the remaining sour cream to make sure you get the correct measured amount into your bowl. And remember, accurate measurements are important when baking. Then lastly, add your agave nectar or your honey into the bowl with the other wet ingredients. Once you have added all of your wet ingredients, you can then begin to fold those wet ingredients into your dry ingredients. But remember to be mindful not to overmix the dough, or you will end up with dense biscuits. Fold the wet ingredients into the flour just enough until the flour becomes moistened. Once you have finished folding the dough, this is what it should look like. And because this is a vegan dough, it will be just a little more stickier than a standard dough. Let me show you a quick Lila's Best Eats kitchen hack on how to make parchment paper lay flat. Place the parchment paper the short way onto the baking sheet, then fold the side of the parchment paper that curls and crease it against the side of the baking sheet. Apply that same fold and crease method of strategy to the opposing side of the baking sheet, and just like that, it lays flat. Next, spray some nonstick baking spray onto the parchment paper, and either with a large spoon or an ice cream scooper like the one I'm using, begin scooping the dough onto the baking sheet. Be sure to leave about 3 to 4 inches in between each biscuit so when they bake, they don't become stuck together. Okay, we've gotten our biscuit dough onto the baking sheet. Now we can preheat the oven to 400 degrees and bake these biscuits for about 25 to 30 minutes depending on your oven. So get them into the oven, close the door, and when they're done, immediately slather some plant-based butter onto these hot, crispy, flaky biscuits and pair with your favorite entree, or eat these delicious vegan Mexican cheddar biscuits all by themselves. Tell me you don't see it. I know you see it. You see how golden brown these biscuits are with the visual bits of cheese and chives? Let me not forget to mention how crispy these edges are too. Here, let me give you a close-up of this perfectly golden, flaky, buttery biscuit. Look at that golden brown bottom. But wait, listen to the sound of this crunchy exterior. And look how soft and fluffy that center is. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share my content, let people know that Lila's Best Eats is always doing it right. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.